going to talk today about working through lesson 17 in the Intro to App Development with Swift iBook. We're going to be creating an app from scratch, from ground zero. And we'll be looking at today, at least, how to create your own app and working with what are referred to as actions and outlets, which basically is using Xcode. How are we going to create how are we going to connect what's on the screen to what's in our code? So I'm going to start here by looking at what a finished product of the app looks like, and it's kind of a cool little app program because it lets us explore a little bit about what we know about computers and colors, and yeah. So when we finish the app, we're going to have a screen that looks like this, where we have this little view here in the storyboard, and then we have a series of switches and sliders. We also have a button here to reset things, and then we've got some code, and we'll look at how this code works, and what we'll actually have to do, what's sort of created for us when we connect various things, and yeah, we should see here that that all these things I can by looking at these circles, I can see what each of these things are connected to on the storyboard when I hover over them. And yeah, there's a decent amount of code here, but I don't want anyone to get intimidated by this. The iBook does a pretty good job stepping us through this process of how we're going to write and create this, where a lot of this comes from. And our final finished product is going to look something like this. So we have this this view at the top. Right now it's black, and then we have these switches and these sliders, and also a button here. When you click reset, turns all these switches off and moves all these sliders to fully on. Now, one of the cool things once we get to the end here is we'll have it set up so you can't move these sliders if the switches are off, because obviously if the switch is off, that means it's turned off that slider. But as soon as I turn that switch on, that slider is activated, the color changes, and now I can move this slider to change the color. And I can do that with each of the other ones. And hopefully this is a reminder that when we're talking about colors of light, we grew up in art class talking about primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. But that's our primary colors when we're talking about pigment. When we're talking about light, we can look at primary colors as being red, green, and blue. It's where RGB comes from. My family's first computer had an RGB monitor, red, green, and blue. And every pixel on any screen we have has three lights: has a red light, a green light, and a blue light. And those little lights are turned on or off, or faded in or out, depending upon what color we want to show up on the screen. So when all those sliders are pushed all the way up, we get white. That's that idea that white light is all colors together. And if we turn all of these all the way down, we get black. So this program is called ColorMix. Just lets you sort of run through some of those things. And if we turn all these on, we can look at some of what are our secondary colors of light. Red and green will make yellow. Red and blue will make magenta. And green and blue will make cyan. So you may see that those colors sometimes. You can also often define your colors of light using those, magenta, cyan, and yellow.